Hello, I'm David Bohnert, Ruminant Nutritionist and Extension Beef Cattle Specialist with Oregon State University and the Eastern Oregon Agricultural Research Center, and I'm here to present an Eastern Oregon Ag Minute. This week I will be presenting information concerning the importance of bull selection in improving your herd's production and profitability. Bull selection, on average, has a greater impact on the genetic improvement of a herd than most producers realize. This is because a bull sires 25 or more calves in each calf crop and has much more influence on the genetic makeup of the herd than does the individual cow. 90% of the genetic improvement in a beef herd is due to the last 3 bulls or groups of bulls that were used. Consequently, before selecting bulls, every producer needs to establish short and long-term goals for their herd. Many times we fail to spend adequate time defining our selection priorities. Most successful cattle managers have a written plan and a list of both short and long-term goals for their cow herds. Their goals are well-defined, achievable, and revised on an annual basis. The decisions you make in bull selection today will not be seen in the herd for 4 to 5 years. Therefore, you must establish breeding goals and stick with them. A successful breeding program is a long-term commitment. Every beef producer should establish goals before choosing the traits they use in bull selection. How are these goals established? One way that has been used successfully by many producers is to assess their current position in the industry and ask themselves several questions. These include, what type of cattle do I produce? What industry segment or segments do I belong to, such as cow-calf, stocker, feeder, and seed stock? And what impacts do my cattle have on different industry segments? Beef producers should also think about who their customers are. Understanding the needs of our customers is a necessary step to deciding which bull is best and an important part to understanding the needs of your customers. The next step in establishing your herd's goals is to determine your herd's performance and profitability, because it is difficult to make improvements if the herd's present status is unknown. Once the herd's performance is established, it is easier to develop goals for genetic improvement. What traits should you, as a beef producer, emphasize in your bull selection? This is a common question, and there is no simple answer. Traits can be grouped into the following categories: growth and production, maternal, carcass, reproductive, survivability and adaptability, and convenience. It is important to determine which traits are of economic importance to your operation. Ideally, traits of economic importance include those that increase profitability. For example, one producer may have a limited amount of labor during his calving. Therefore, calving ease would most likely be on the list of economically important traits. Another cattle producer might market his cattle through a retained ownership program, and premiums or discounts are awarded for carcass quality. This producer would place a larger emphasis on carcass traits. Once traits have been selected, a producer should ask the following questions. Do the traits in my selection criteria contribute to reducing costs of production and/or increase my revenue? And are the traits that I have selected for important to the success and profitability of my customers? A powerful tool available to cattle producers for use in selecting herd bulls is expected progeny differences, commonly referred to as EPDs. EPDs are estimates of how a particular bull's progeny will perform when compared with the progeny of the average bull of that particular breed. Expected progeny differences are reported as pounds above or below a zero base. A weaning weight EPD of 27.5 means a bull is expected to sire calves that are on average 27.5 pounds heavier at weaning than the breed average. Uniformly reported EPDs include birth weight for the average weight at birth of the bull's progeny, yearling weight for the average weight at a year of age of progeny, which is the best indicator of growth potential, weaning weight direct, which is the average weaning weight of a bull's own progeny, carcass traits, which is for marbling and ribeye area, and scrotal EPD, which is for scrotal circumference, which is a good indicator of a bull's fertility and is also correlated to a shorter time for daughters to reach puberty. Today I'm going to discuss the accuracy values associated with bull EPDs. What is accuracy? Accuracy is a measure of the amount and type of information used to calculate an EPD. It determines the reliability of the EPD and provides you with a way to determine the level of information going into each individual's genetic prediction. So how should a producer categorize accuracy? One way to evaluate accuracy values is to group them into low, moderate, and high categories. The low range for accuracy might range from 0 to 0.4, the moderate from 0.4 to 0.8, and the high from 0.8 to 1. In the low range, the EPD value is considered risky because it might be used on pedigree information alone or just a small amount of actual data. The moderate accuracy values are still considered risky, but they are more useful in making selection decisions because more data has been collected. The higher accuracy genetic predictions are very reliable and useful in making comparisons because thousands of observations have contributed to the EPD. Often yearling bulls are criticized for having low accuracy EPDs. Nevertheless, if given the choice between an EPD and a visual observation in making a selection decision for a particular trait, the most reliable and best decision will be with the EPD. I'm David Bohnert. Thanks for listening.